Good morning, guys. Hope you all are doing well, staying safe, washing your hands, staying healthy, staying home when possible. So here's another little review video regarding what we talked about last week with how teens can create social change or be activists for social change using their creativity. So last week you had this article I asked you to read about teenage brains and how in the past adults, scientists, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists have thought, teachers have thought that teenage brains focused so much on the pleasure center of the brain and risk taking that teens were making, poor decisions because their decisions were all based on um, behaviors that brought pleasure or excitement instead of using the logic or reasoning or thinking part of their brain more often to think through those types of behaviors and look at consequences before acting. So that was in the past, but more research has shown that, even though, yes, teenage brains are still developing, and yes, the pleasure center of the brain seems to control most thoughts and behaviors, there is a large portion of teenage decision making that centers around creativity, that risk taking and fearlessness that comes with the developing teenage brain um, also shows us that your creativity is amazing, right? That you're willing to take risks in order to do some amazing things and positive things for the world and people around you. So, with that being said, one of the activities that I asked you to do last week was to interview someone, a fellow teenager, about their experience in being a teenager and how they felt about it. I remember when I was a teenager, one of the things that I thought was the hardest was being a teenager, not being able to make my own decisions, having to be told what to do all the time, listening to someone else. I thought I knew everything. And it was frustrating a lot of the time. So being an adult now and looking back on that, I see it wasn't as bad as my teenage brain was telling me. However, I also asked you to do a part two, which was go on to Google and look for a social media post, an image, a video, a link to something that showed how teenagers were using their fearlessness and their creativity to enact social change. So to make a difference in the world. So I found this really cool article. Unfortunately, this particular article doesn't have a lot of male representation. The top 10 famous teenage activists who will inspire you from April 27th, 2019, actually, is all female oriented. There's a lot of girls that are represented, but you can see that teens are really trying to make a difference. So we got Marley Diaz, right? Marley Diaz is she was 14 at the time, and she launched a campaign in 2015 called hashtag 1000 Black Girl Books as a result of feeling frustrated that she wasn't reading books in school that had Black main characters. The goal of her campaign was to donate and collect 1,000 books featuring Black girls as main characters rather than white boys. And then she actually wrote a book, Marley Diaz Gets It Done. Like at 14, well, now she's more likely 15, she has been doing a lot for her community and the people around her, not just thinking about herself. So using her creativity and her fearlessness to do things for others. Jamie Margolin is another activist, 17 years old last year, and fighting for climate justice, okay, or climate change, right, reform. Mari Kopeny, she is an activist that was looking at the water crisis in Flint. She was bringing attention to the water crisis in Flint. At 11, um, at 11 years old, she shot to national attention when at 8, she wrote a letter to President Obama asking him to meet her and a few other people in Washington, D.C. to talk about the Flint water crisis. This is amazing. At 8 years old, she did this, right? Trying to bring attention to the Flint water crisis, anti-bullying, and getting underserved kids free screenings of diverse movies. Like, she's been an activist in our area, in our state, for several years now. Mari Coping. So just some examples of how teenagers, even though you're, in a weird space in your development, especially your brain development, where you want to take a lot of risks and you're making some poor decisions and, things of that nature, you also have this amazing ability, because of your fearlessness and because of your creativity, to make change, to change the world for the better around you. And I really want to see how you all are thinking about doing things like this. How are you using your powers for good and not evil, so to speak? All right. So this week, you all had this activity where I asked you to look at this collage and then answer these 2 questions. This was in relation to Ahmaud Arbery and his murder back in February, and how it gained national attention just recently in May, several months after his murder. So just wanted you guys to kind of think about that, maybe journal a little bit. You could have written a journal, you could have recorded a video, you could have made a collage that went along with this collage that I made for you all. So that was one thing for this week. And then for today, I made another Google slide for you all where I have you looking at an image and a description of the image, and then making 2 slides of your own. The first slide that you're going to make is going to be answering 4 questions that are on the next slide. And then the second slide you're going to make is going to have your own questions that you're going to create about the image, about racial discrimination, police brutality, and racism in America. Okay, so I have this image up for you all here, and then a description of the image here, and then the 4 questions down below. And then you all are going to be expected to make your own slides. The first slide you are going to add to this presentation is going to answer the 4 questions at the bottom. The second slide you're going to make is going to be you creating your own questions about the issues that are seen here and in the collage from Tuesday. Okay? With that, I just want to say, make it a great day, Eagles. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you all on these interwebs soon. Go Eagles.